Are you able to subscribe for me? just hit the button below so we can be connected. So we can really be family. So we can really stay in touch and continue to love one another. I am sending you mad love and light. I'm sending you abundant love, abundant light coming your way. May this week, may this day, may this year continue to be a blessing for you. What I want to talk to you today about is not so much a popular opinion. As we know, we are living in the Matrix. If you don't know, now you know. We are living in a spell. We are living in a society that is trying to program us to have it all figured out. And I want to challenge you to say, you know what? I'm going to step into the unknown and be okay with that, because that is a place a lot of people are weary about. Being in the unknown, the uncertainty, and not knowing what's finna happen. But that brings you power, that brings you strength, and that means you trust God. Because over here, we trust God. So I get this question, and I don't be knowing how to respond. It goes something like, Tara, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I be thinking in my head, I don't even know what I'm finna do next week. Because I trust God so much. I gave my plans up to God. God is in control. And that's when you step into obedience and you get rid of your flesh. Because trust me, if I had my own plans, I'll be Netflix and chilling, bayed up, booed up, kicking it, wasting time, watching TV, eating all kinds of food. But I'm not living for me no more. I'm not doing what I want to do and what my fleshly desires. I have surrendered to God's calling. I have surrendered to God's plans on my life, because if I was going to do my plans, I don't think we would be here right now. You feel me? I don't think it would have been this smooth how it's going. And this is when you got to trust God. Because if you have your plans, right, you're going to think you're a failure if you don't make the certain time frame that you put on your life. And you adding so much pressure on your life. Oh, I got to be married by 25. Oh, I got to have kids by this age. Oh, I got to have my career by this age. Oh. And let me tell you, you are not supposed to have it all figured out. This life is a journey. This life is an experience. And this life is your teacher. So what if I tell you that this life is for you to heal yourself, to learn about you, to love on you, and to do you, and to trust God in the process? This is when you got to have unwavering faith. Whew. It's got to be overloaded. It got to be so magnificent. You don't see it. You don't see the plans. But God told you. You know what you know in your heart. So it's gonna be true. And it might not happen on our time. It's never gonna happen when we want it to happen. Because God has to build up the character. God has to build you up. The integrity, the morals, the values. Because if we would just get what we manifest for instantly, I don't think we'd be knowing how to act for real. We wouldn't do right and we wouldn't be right. So God has to mold us, build us up, get us in the capacity to overcome the barriers that will be presented to us over and over again. You know, it's kind of silly that we feel like life is not a journey of ups and downs, of a roller coaster. We feel like it's supposed to be all fun and games. But when you understand that this life is a test, that you will get presented test after test until you pass. Just like when we was in school. I mean, they would get us these tests and we would have to retake it if we fail. We will have to study for it. We will have to prepare for it. And that's what life is. Tests will come through people, through careers, through relationships. And if you don't pass these tests, then they will come back around in a different way. So us having our own plans and our own list of accomplishments, like, oh, I gotta get this done. I gotta be there when I'm 25. I gotta be there when I'm 26. I gotta be there. And then we be so hard on ourselves when we don't make the requirements that we set for ourselves. So now we think we a failure. Now we think we behind schedule. Now we think we behind. Now we comparing ourselves on Instagram. Now we hating on whoever. Now we complaining to God. But we did not take the time to listen to God. God has plans for us. And sometimes we end up going another route because we want to focus on our passions. Passion and purpose is two different things. What you are passionate about is about you. What your purpose is about others. Let me say that again. What you are passionate about is about you. Your purpose is for others. So this is when we have to get into service for God. Be of service, have humility, be a good steward with what God blesses us with. It's going to have to come to a point in time where we decide to be a blessing instead of trying to get blessed. Be a blessing. This life is meant for you to give everything you got in you. Whether you are good at music, whether you good at art, whether you good at communication, whether you good with your hands, whether you good at cleaning, cooking, loving, nurturing. We are all good at something, but we play such a huge piece of the puzzle. We are so important to each of this piece of the puzzle, and we all fit in the most unique way as possible. We are so unique. We have our spiritual DNA that is perfect. You are divine. You are the source. And you have all the powers within you. But we add so much pressure on ourselves. We feel like we're not doing enough when we are simply purpose. We are enough. We are doing more than enough. But of course, we have these high expectations and we never satisfied. We just never satisfied. It's like we expect things to go a certain way because we made up those rules and regulations. We put out this list, right? So now we got this list and all different things is coming our way. But if we would just trust God, if we would do God's calling on our life, if we would just obey to God's plans on our life instead of our plans, life will get much more easier. Because if we would have our plans up and dandy, Corona wouldn't have been in the plans, right? That wouldn't have been in the plans now. Corona wouldn't have been in the plans, in our list that we wrote out on our life, that we had to have this age, and then boom, Corona's in there. You didn't put that in your list, huh? But God had it in the list all along. But if you would have just been doing God's plan, you would have been prepared for it. You would have been excited for this shift that is happening of consciousness, that you will be excited for what God is blessing you with. But instead, we feel like we want to do what we want to do sometimes, and we think we know best, and we gotta get hit on the head a couple times until we realize it's much more easier to just do God's plans. It's a lot of stress-free, worry-free that comes with it when we just do God's plans on our life. Because we will have these expectations. We will have this long list of what we need to get done, but still not be satisfied. But what if I tell you the way to be satisfied in this life is to gain clarity of your purpose, because that will lead to fulfillment. It's not all about money. Money is just a byproduct of what you are doing with your service here. Of course, we need money to survive, but you can't focus on money. Money's gonna come because you are a money magnet. But it's about trusting God's plans for your life. It's about surrendering to the call. It's about realizing that what God has for us is much more better than we can ever imagine. We think that certain things is good for us, but what God has for us is much better. We be so focused on what we want, but God has what we need. So focus on what you need. You need love. You need to be of service. You need to vibrate from the love frequency, which is the highest frequency there is. And when you are doing that, when you are on such a high frequency, other people will have to rise up to meet you. You don't have to stoop low. They're going to have to rise up to get to you, because you are the example. And those that are around you are going to pick up what you're dropping. They will be inspired by the shift that you are making, by the conscious effort that you are putting on your day-to-day life. And they can only mirror you and love on you. But we have to stay on the highest frequency of love there is, and not stoop down to nobody's level, because that's going low. When others go low, we go high. Understand me? I love you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for your energy, for tuning in and tapping in. I am Tara Chantel, the self-love coach. I teach others how to fall madly in love with themselves by still focusing on the spiritual evolution of this life. Thank you tremendously. Connect with your girl. And I'm going to see you at the top, baby.